How did we get here?
So chief, kiss the return of the blade and slice shade, getting paid until my silhouette fades.
It's no secret that we live in a pretty interesting time, not only musically, but artistically. The way we consume music, and moreover the reason we consume music, has changed dramatically from about 10 years ago. You don't need to go to a record store or catch a song on the radio. The music we consume is right at our fingertips. And who and what gets popular and why it gets popular is at the mercy of everybody on the internet, which is everybody. An Indonesian kid who made one song and a couple viral videos can have an entire music career the same way a traditional artist can. It doesn't matter who you are. We live in an era where art and music are finally on a level playing field. And nobody personifies this more than George Miller, aka Filthy Frank, aka Joji.
You're right, you're right.
Joji's music is pretty easy to track and document, as it were. His music is very much an evolution of the ukulele parody songs he used to do under the Filthy Frank moniker. What the f did I write? His style is very much an evolution of the ukulele parody songs he used to do under the Filthy Frank moniker, and his music now is very much influenced by lo-fi and vaporwave to an extent. He isn't exactly redefining genre here, but he's definitely playing with the best tools of music lately. He writes music that hits people on a deep and personal level, and that's very much in part to not only the timbre of the music, but his lyrics as well. This same guy also made this.
You got it, what the hell? Stop!
And this.
Rastringan. Rosetta Stone.
For like several years on the internet. There's something to be said about that. Once upon a time, if you were an entertainer, you would be pigeonholed into whatever it was that you did. Sure, if you were a singer, you could try acting, but you wouldn't be taken very seriously. And generally, if you were a comedian or an actor, you really didn't have a fruitful music career. Now, I know Eddie Murphy's Party All the Time is a masterpiece, but that's the exception to the rule. If you would have told somebody 10 years ago that someone like this would be one of the most popular and influential artists of 2018, they would have laughed at you. It wasn't exactly completely out of nowhere either. We saw Joji's evolution even within the Filthy Frank show itself. Chloe Burbank was a collection of songs that Joji was working on outside of the Filthy Frank and Pink Eye and Pink Omega projects. A bit more serious, kind of his own personal project outside of his big YouTube thing. Pink Omega was also an attempt at giving the fans something a bit more serious, something more, not so, this. Pink Eye's music mostly fell under the Filthy Frank banner until he blurred those lines with 2015's Pink Season. The production of the album was the most striking difference at this point. From a visual standpoint, this is where we would get videos that would look more akin to Joji videos that we would have today. This would become even more evident by The Prophecy. I guess the reason it's been so easy for George to transition between Filthy Frank, George Miller, and Joji is because everything he's worked on has always felt very genuine. Filthy Frank was always blunt and vulgar, a little racist, but there was always hints of the human underneath, be it in the videos or in his music. It always felt like the content he put out was at our level. It was always inventive and always out there, but it never felt like what he was doing was out of our reach, like we couldn't do what Filthy Frank was doing. It feels now like more and more George Millers are becoming the rule and not the exception. YouTube artists and musicians are now just musicians to people. What was once a funny niche concept is now becoming our mainstream. The Filthy Franks, Jojis, George Millers of the world truly feel like the future of not only music but entertainment. And it's exciting to see this shift in the way that we consume and create media. It's art by artist for artist. Seeing someone not too different from me going on and releasing this is the most exciting thing in the world. Happy New Year's, nerds! By the time you're watching this, it's already 2019. Buy our shirts. So what do you think? Are you a fan of Joji? Do you think that online media sort of is the be-all, end-all of traditional music as we know it, or do you think that it still is very niche and we still have a long way to go? All I know is that at this New Year's in particular, we saw Liza Koshy alongside Ryan Seacrest, and it was the weirdest feeling in the world. But in a weird way. It felt very natural. I don't know. What do you think? I'm also dumb and drunk. So I want to hear what you guys have to say in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for a dope year, and let's go into 2019 pretty not sober. Don't forget to like, comment, favorite, and subscribe. I suck at ending videos, and I suck at everything. Till next time, guys. I love you.